Nae Ionescu. Nae Ionescu, Romanian, born Nicolae C. Ionescu, 16th of June 1890, March 15, 1940, was a Romanian philosopher, logician, mathematician, professor, and journalist. Near the end of his career, he became known for his antisemitism and devotion to far-right politics, in the years leading up to World War II. Life. Born in Brăila, Ionescu studied letters at the University of Bucharest until 1912. Upon graduation, he was appointed teacher at the Matei Basarab High School in Bucharest. When World War I began, he traveled to Germany for additional studies at the University of Göttingen. Romania's entry into the war on the Entente side prevented him from returning, but he was awarded a doctorate in philosophy in 1919 from the University of Munich. His thesis was entitled Die Logistik als Versuch einer neuen Begründung der Mathematik, formal logic as an attempt at a new foundation of mathematics. Back in Romania, after another brief stint teaching, Ionescu was appointed assistant to Constantine Radulescu Motru at the University of Bucharest's Department of Logic and Theory of Knowledge. His life's work had a profound effect on a generation of Romanian thinkers, first for his studies on comparative religion, philosophy, and mysticism, but later for his nationalist and far-right sentiment. Some of the figures he influenced include Constantine Noaca, Mircea Eliade, Emil Cioran, Hage Actarian, Jenny Actarian, Mihail Sebastian, Mircea Vulcanescu, and Petre Tutio. The existentialist and partly mystical school of thought Ionescu introduced bore the name Traorism. Traorism intersected at several points with the ideology of the Iron Guard. The connection became even more direct when many of its adherents also publicly associated with the latter. Ionescu himself was more reserved in his dealings with the Guard. He was the editor of the highly influential newspaper Cuvântul, which had long backed King Carol II, the major rival of the Guard. However, Ionescu moved away from the monarchy due to Carol's inner circle. Ionescu's antisemitism was a decisive factor in his switching of allegiances. Jewish writer Mihail Sebastian's journal depicts the interval during which Ionescu's virulence grew, as well as the reasons that were animating his large following. Mihail Sebastian incident. During the period when Sebastian and Ionescu were still on speaking terms, the latter had agreed to write the preface of Sebastian's book to Doamita Ani. It's been 2,000 years. Ionescu's introduction shocked Sebastian, who loved and admired Ionescu, as it included several overtly anti-Semitic statements. Mircea Eliade recalls the incident in his autobiography. Eliade notes that this incident marked a profound departure for Ionescu, who in the late 1920s had suggested to Eliade, who was then his student, that he had been tempted to give up both journalism and politics and devote myself entirely to Hebraic studies. Sebastian, though dejected by the incident, opted to keep Ionescu's introduction in the book. Later life. After Carol's crackdown on the Iron Guard, Nae Ionescu and his disciples were rounded up and imprisoned at a makeshift camp in Miercurea. The experience took a toll on his fragile health, and he died soon thereafter. Some close sources indicated that he was assassinated by poisoning due to his involvement with the Iron Guard. Nae Ionescu's villa in Banayasa. Nae Ionescu was the owner of a luxury villa in Banayasa village, now Banayasa neighborhood, in the northern part of Bucharest, situated at 4th, Ion Ionescu de la Brad Avenue, position 44 degrees 2955 and 26 degrees 0431 E, 44.498604 degrees north 26.075206 degrees east, 44.498604, 26.075206. It was considered one of the finest Bucharest residences at the time. The house remained in collective memory mainly because it is described in his students' writings, Mircea Vulcanescu and others. The house was built by architect George Matei Contacuzino, under its owner direct supervision. In his book Nae Ionescu Escu L.M. Cunoscut, Nae Ionescu as I Knew Him, Vulcanescu dedicates many pages in describing this house, in detail. He evokes the fact that a painting of El Greco was displayed there, a descent from the cross, on which Ionescu took great pride. Nae Ionescu died in this very house, because of a heart attack, on March 15, 1940, while his girlfriend Cela del Vrancho was present. After his death, the house served as an official residence to Marshal Ion Ionescu, sometime after his rise in power on September 6, 1940. After the communist regime was installed, the villa was given to the University of Agronomic Sciences, since the land of Ferma Regala Banayasa, Banayasa Royal Farm, lies around the building. Today, It is the headquarter of Statione de Cercetare des Voltaire pentru Pomicultura Banayasa, Statione Banayasa.ro, a research facility for pomology. Notes. External links. Notes.